Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism. No contribution with this video. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So, I'm back. Took the weekend off. Gathered my thoughts. And here's where we are. Winning. We're winning. Kind of tried to tell you that in the last couple videos I did, even though where the mood is and the media is and the screaming and the temperature is, the reason it's there is because our side is winning. And last week was just what happened last week in the Supreme Court is basically the week many of us have been waiting for the past 5 decades, and we'll start with the second ruling first. Roe v. Wade being overturned. And, first of all, that doesn't mean abortion's illegal. It doesn't. It just means it goes back to the states, and the states decide on it through vote. Or some of these states already had trigger laws when Roe v. Wade was passed, that if Roe v. Wade was ever overturned, that abortion would become illegal. And that's happened in Missouri and Texas, a couple other places, I believe. The funny thing is that there's states that are in control by Democrats, or purple states or swing states like Wisconsin and Michigan, that also have trigger laws. And both those states controlled by Democrat governors, but Republican legislatures. So you're at a point now, or the country's at a point now, where you knew it was going to go, where everything that the left, the communist, the narco-communist accuses you of is what they are in fact doing or plan to do, i.e., insurrection-y stuff. Where you have politicians and left-wing politicians, you have left-wing politicians and prosecutors and DAs and mayors or whoever saying they're just going to subvert the hell with the Supreme Court, and they're not going to follow what the Supreme Court says. That sounds like insurrection. But in this argument and in this meltdown, again, the narcissist, the communist, the Marxist, the left will always tell you who they really are. I've been telling you these people are walking demons. Whether it was the narcissist in your own life or the societal narcissists who've been running society and running the culture, running it into the ground. There's no better example of this than Ana Navarro, who's on CNN, like part-time on, I think she's part-time on The View. She was supposedly a Republican strategist worked for Jeb Bush. I'm not going to play and I'm not going to play it because that's how you get strikes these days, and they make a copyright claim against you. It's not worth it, but it's out there, and I'm sure if you care about this issue, you saw what she said. Ana Navarro used her own family, a severely disabled brother, she said, a nephew, and I think she said 2 step-grandchildren, severe autism, severe disabilities, and she used her own family members as a justification for abortion because of the mental stress and the financial stress of raising people with special needs through life, because of the strain. Her own family. And when she's saying it, she thinks she's making this valid point as the other hands, and she said this on CNN. She was being interviewed by Allison Camerata, formerly of Fox News weekend host. Not in the lawn. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for sharing that. That your own family members should have been aborted. That sounds an awful lot like eugenics. In fact, that is exactly what it is. Eugenics. So for all this fascism talk and all this Nazi talk and all this talk of what the right's going to do and what the right intends to do and what you intend to do and what you really think, okay, all these accusations and all this talk and all this chatter and all these meltdowns is nothing more than projection. Because it's okay when they say it. It's okay when they do it. Sound familiar? Sound familiar, people who started with me on the narcissism side? Do you see why I make the connection where the age-old question, where did these narcissists come from? Where did these narcissist abusers come from? Here. From this. Societally trained, societally conditioned. Rules for you, not for me. Why? Because I'm better than you. I'm better than you. You don't get to decide. I get to decide who elite is. I get to decide. And by me, I don't mean me. I'm talking the left. The narcissist, the communists, they believe it. They believe it. They're not against eugenics. They're not against eugenics. All those accusations are nothing more than an admission of what they really think and what they really want to do with power. Their own family included. Their own families included. When you watch, and the other thing I've been doing all weekend is just watching the meltdowns of these demons as you basically watch Moloch scream. Moloch's angry. I've been telling you these people are demons. They're real. Demons are real. Moloch is real. Moloch isn't happy. Not happy at all. And watching these people have full-on meltdowns. And what's the meltdown really about? Is it really that important to them that abortion is legal, that they're able, if they get pregnant, the first thing they need to do is figure out how to get rid of it? No. You look at these people, you could see them for what they are. It isn't about them, it's about you. Their lives are fucked up. They're not happy. They're miserable. And they sure as hell don't want you to find happiness through family, through a nuclear family, through children. They don't want it. They can't have it. That's where this demonic screeching into the air, it's jealousy, it's regret, it's pain. A lot of it is sloth and laziness because they won't do anything that is necessary to improve their own lot in life. Yes, there are a lot of victims in this world, a lot of us included, but there comes a point where you say enough is enough. I am not going to be mired in misery and try to keep dragging every person I meet along into my own fucking personal hell. That's how we think. That's not how they think. I told you they would happily lose everything, live in squalor and misery so long as you do too. What I can't understand in all this, and as happy as I am about it, and you have to be fair, You have to give credit where credit is due on how this decision came about, how these justices got on the court in the first place. And I'm talking about Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and and Barrett, Amy Coney Barrett, the three Trump justices. You know, remember, and Mitch McConnell gets his credit because he didn't allow Merrick Garland, thank God, on the Supreme Court. But I don't think that was necessarily about Garland. So I'll circle back to that. You also got to give credit to, unfortunately, Lindsey Graham, because Lindsey Graham basically saved the Kavanaugh nomination by giving his rant during the Kavanaugh hearing. You know, this is BS. You're attacking this guy. You saw it. It's out there. The Lindsey Graham rant. It saved Kavanaugh. That's where you got where the supposed Lindsey 2.0 came from, and based Lindsey, yada yada. And of course, Donald Trump for nominating. Okay. Trump, I get. Trump ran on it, Trump said he was going to do this, said he'd have it on. He did what every other Republican has been saying since 1973. They would overturn Roe v. Wade. He did it. Now, that being said, that McConnell and Graham get just as much credit for it. Okay? And all the Republicans, I guess, who voted for Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and have to be credited because they voted them on. But for the life of me, I can't figure out why they did it. Because what we have found out, and what I've been telling you, is the GOP, the Republicans, are losers. They are the flying monkeys of the left. Every issue that's important, every fight you think they're on your side, when it gets to push comes to shove, here comes that knife in your back and twisted every time. Except this time. And you can't tell me that it's because, they find life precious and they savor life and they care about the life of the child. These people don't care about anything but themselves and their own political careers. They don't. And keep in mind, when McConnell held up Garland under Obama for that Supreme Court slot when Scalia died, when he refused to bring it to the Senate floor, held it to the next election. Nobody thought Trump was going to win. And as far as they were concerned, Hillary Clinton was a foregone conclusion anyway, no matter what Republican ran against her. So I think maybe he trusted Hillary. Maybe McConnell trusted Hillary more than Obama. There might have been some kind of personal beef with Obama. Maybe he didn't like Garland, but it wasn't because he didn't hold up that nomination thinking a Republican was going to win and you were going to get Kavanaugh on that court or Gorsuch on that court. They all thought the Democrat was going to win. And this was before Trump won the nomination. He started holding that up, I believe. So once Trump got the nomination, it was a foregone conclusion they were losing that seat anyway. Except Trump won. I can't figure out what the angle is here, because there's a lot of layering to the entire abortion issue. You know, they didn't know that the GOP stabs you in the back as you finding out with the Second Amendment every time. Why did they hold firm? I think they backed into it accidentally. We would have been screwed. Okay, either Hillary was going to win, or they were thinking either Jeb in 2016, Bush was going to win, or Rubio was going to win. And then you know what you would have gotten? You would have gotten another Anthony Kennedy on that bench. You would have gotten another one of those. That's what they wanted. They want these middle of the road, milquetoast rhino types that are going to just keep on keeping on. And I think once Trump won, I mean, it was just too late on this issue. Maybe the money that was coming in from the anti-abortion PACs was too much. But don't think this is because they did this because they actually care about families and they actually care about babies. They don't. They don't. The Republicans are always going to stab you in the back and twist the knife. And that's probably what the Second Amendment law is about. The new red flag laws may be a makeup for this, to try to counterbalance the states having control. And I'm going to get into the Second Amendment, the red flag, shortly as well. Now, as far as why did Graham defend Kavanaugh, I think Graham, understand something. Kavanaugh was more of like a George Bush type of Republican, but because he's Christian or because he was Catholic, he's anti-abortion. That's what kind of pushed him to the forefront. And I don't think you could have the best they could do, the Republicans could do in that hearing, is to let Ben Sasse delay the vote for a week for an FBI investigation. I think they got walked into it and they got caught out and they had no choice. They had to go all in. Because I don't believe the Republicans give one iota about life. Don't buy that. Don't buy it whatsoever. And, and I had said, like, once this would be overturned, there's going to be states you can have free and open abortions for probably right up to the life of right up till through 9 months. And there's going to be places where you can't. And that was the whole purpose of this country. You live where the laws and the culture line up to you, to what you believe, how you want to live, how you want to raise a family, how you want your children raised. If the GOP and the Republicans really cared about life and abortion and families and the culture, there would be figuring out how to bring it about so we are a one income type of family where one income can buy a house and cars and you can raise a family and have kids and have a life on one income. Because usually the biggest factor, I think, in whether or not somebody has a baby is, can I afford it? Can I do this? How am I going to work? It's very hard if you get pregnant, okay? And you're unmarried, okay? Or you might be in a relationship with somebody for a while. You're not married, you've just been married, and you're just scraping by on 2 salaries and 2 jobs. How are you gonna have a baby? And I'm not saying go and have an abortion. No, this is how they corner young people. This is how they've done it. They make it almost impossible for you to have a baby financially. And if you do have it, you sure as hell ain't going to raise it. That'll be daycares and then your public schools, because there's no way you're affording private school if you're both working full time. And we all seeing what's happening in those public schools. That's why you have these corporations now who are coming to the forefront and saying, we will pay $4,000. Companies like Disney, and I think Netflix said it or Vimeo said it, that they will pay $4,000, all expenses, for their employees to travel out of state and have an abortion. Why? Why? Why would you do that? You give 2 weeks of maternity leave, okay, but you're going to give $4,000. Why? I'll tell you why. Because if you're off having a baby, you're sure not going to be able to stand there working for $9.50 an hour or $11 an hour for 44 hours a week. Are you? What you have to watch for now is what here's my real fear. There's not even a fear. This is what I think is probably happening. The congressional Republicans, and by congressional I mean, the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, have figured out, okay, that we have figured out that local elections matter. Your school boards, your mayors, your prosecutor's office, your governors, your state representatives, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where the rubber meets the road. And the federal mandate, not a mandate, but Roe v. Wade, the Roe v. decision in 73, just kind of, though they love federal government loves broad federal power, they realize, I think the Republicans realize, we're not going to be able to control anything if Roe v. Wade stands. What you have to watch for now is these rhino flying monkey backstabbers now trying to reinfiltrate local and state elections. Get back on those school boards. Get back in the prosecutors' offices. Get back in the DA's offices. Get back into the sheriff's departments. To continue that slow walk towards Gomorrah through the states. You can't allow it. Can't allow it. Because remember why the flying monkey is able to hurt you so bad in your personal life. Just like with the Republicans. You've been going to war with these people by your side, so you thought, for years. And then when the moment of truth comes, that's where you're fucking blindsided and you find out. And you find out that they're going to turn on you, and here comes the knife in the back. Every time. Every time. So until you start hearing these Republicans talking about how do we have single income families again? How do we have it so you can survive on one paycheck, okay, and not be living week to week with two paychecks? How do you have it? You're going nowhere. They're up to something, because do not buy for 1 second that they actually care about saving babies and saving lives. They don't. They don't. So it was when that was announced, like, still in the back of my at the bottom pit of my stomach and the back of my mind, I'm like, they're gonna fuck this up somehow. They're gonna fuck this up. They're gonna, maybe they scared Kavanaugh by going to his house. Maybe, like, who knows? Who? Think about what it takes to stand up to that when it is a federal crime to picket in front of a Supreme Court justice's house, a federal judge's house, to try to influence a decision, and the Justice Department does nothing. They don't care. They make it clear, we're going to do what we're going to do. I mean, that's where sounds insurrection-y to me. Sounds pretty insurrection-y to me. Think about the courage it takes to stand up to that. Now, Clarence Thomas was just waiting for this to do this. And it couldn't have worked out any better that he was able to do it to Biden after what Biden did to him during his confirmation hearing with the whole Anita Hill. And, like, Biden was the one orchestrating that fucking circus with Ted Kennedy. So for Clarence Thomas to be able just to stick it to him, just to stick it to Biden like that, it's got to be one of the greatest karmas I think I've ever seen. And being that it was done by Donald Trump's three justices makes it even kind of sweeter. But again, so that's Roe. That brings us to the Dobbs decision. That was the Second Amendment decision that said that was a case for New York, because New York, New Jersey, those northeast areas, and there's a couple other states, make it nearly impossible for you to not only get a gun, but trying to conceal carry a weapon in those states, forget about it. Forget it, but you got to jump through hoops. It's up to the chief of police whether or not you deserve it. And most times, it's nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible. And they make the process so tedious. Even if you do qualify, by the time you get to the end, it's not worth it. And as soon as you get it, then you got to start reapplying for the next year. It's Supreme Court threw all that out. Said, no, you cannot do that. You can't do any of that. Shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. To keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What are the Republicans doing? What do they do? Here they come. Here come your flying monkeys. Here come your Republicans, your NRA members, your people who want mass shoot. Here they come. 12 of them. And don't think it's just 12 of them that would have voted for it if they needed it. If they needed more, they would have gotten more. Here they come. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's have red flag laws where somebody who's pissed off at you can, in 2022, where we know doxing isn't a thing. Nobody makes false accusations about people because they don't like what they say or like their politics, or because they got broken up with, or the marriage didn't work. No hostility like that whatsoever in 2022, where someone could just call up and say, hey, I think that person is a danger to themselves. I heard them say X, Y, Z, and they got guns. And if you got the right chief of police who has the wrong politics than you, here come a bunch of armed men to your house to, by force, take your right to protect yourself away. No trial, no hearing, no anything. And who gave it to them? There you go. There's your flying monkey Republicans. There it is. And I think it might have been, I think it might be, a carrot to the left, because they fucked up. They fucked up on the Supreme Court. Listen, I still can't believe they actually wanted Roe overturned. I'll never believe. I won't buy it. I won't buy that Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and these other guys actually wanted it overturned. I think something blew up in their face. And this is their payback. And at the end of the day, These rhino Republicans don't want you to defend themselves from them either. Listen, they know they're probably taking control back in November. They know it. They don't want you protecting yourself from their bullshit either. But the Supreme Court, luckily, before Biden could even sign the bill, the Supreme Court dropped their decision on Dobbs, saying that they've already ruled on red flag laws are unconstitutional. So I have to assume this week there's got to be a federal lawsuit being filed either in a Florida or probably Texas federal court where this is going to be overturned. Okay, it's going to be deemed unconstitutional. Once again, it'll work its way back up. Might not even have to make the Supreme Court because this has been so clearly recently legislated that no, this is unconstitutional. So you'll get more whining and screaming from the left. But again, it goes to show you these people who you think are on your side are not. And when push comes to shove, when it really matters is when that knife is going into your back and is going to be twisted. Every time. Just like with your personal abusers in your life. Just when you thought you had somebody, a couple people on your side who saw it the way you did, saw the abuse, saw it for what it is, saw what this person is doing or what these people are doing, and then you go and to make your stand where it's push comes to shove, and this is the moment of truth, what happens? Pff, knife right in the back. I never said that. Oh, you just need to get over it. You need... Nah. That's Republicans. That's the flying monkeys in your lives. That's what's going on. That's who they are. So, the Dobbs decision obviously makes me happy. Should make everybody happy. Do not panic over these new red flag laws. They will never go into effect. Never. They're going to be deemed unconstitutional. Okay? And at the same time, there in that bill is also another $100 million for the FBI. For a corrupt political tool of the Democrats, and these Republicans are going and giving them more, not investigating them, not demanding accountability investigations on any of their fucked up behavior, on why all these mass shootings that happen you already know about, and yet they happen anyway. None of that. Here's another $100 million of your money that you don't already have. And they're showing you they don't give a shit. They're showing you they don't give a shit about anything. That they will do what they want when they want to do it. No better example of that right now than Ghislaine Maxwell being put on suicide watch. Man, they're going to suicide her right in front of your face, right in front of our faces, and be like, nothing you can do about it. Her lawyer's screaming she ain't suicidal. She don't want to kill herself. They won't allow her access to her lawyer. They won't allow her access to... Why? They had an entire trial, and I understand federal trials are not televised. Okay, that's why you didn't see it. But how do you convict this woman of child sex trafficking, and not name one fucking person she actually trafficked to? Nobody. Yeah, you hear Bill Gates was on it. You know Clinton flew all over. Okay, that's where we're at. Who are the rest of them? What was in the black book? You don't hear anything. But now you're hearing, before sentencing, that she's on suicide watch. I bet she is. An entire federal trial prosecuted by James Comey's daughter, by the way, for child sex trafficking, and you didn't hear one name of who she trafficked anybody to. All you heard is she gave Jeffrey Epstein massages. Well, you know what? They weren't trafficking all these people just for Jeffrey Epstein, were they? Nope. Obviously not. Right in front of your face. Right in front of your face. That's where we are. It's the what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it mode? What are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? Like I told you, what you do about it is you worry about, you balkanize, and you worry about your own area. You worry about the people in your life and making your own circle stronger. Local elections, school board, sheriff, DA, prosecutor, mayors, your council, state representatives, state assembly, state senate, whatever you call it in whatever state you're in. And you're going to have to be vigilant because of what James O'Keefe dropped yesterday. This is in South Carolina, if you didn't see it. Project Veritas dropped another video, James O'Keefe. This time for the Democrat candidate for Senate, for the state of California, not state Senate, for the federal Senate in South Carolina, talking on the phone to jail inmates and a guard about how to get sleepers to run as Republicans and then enact their agenda. Run as Republicans, win as Republicans, and then enact a left-wing agenda to bring in what they want. This is what they're doing. You cannot put your guard down for one freaking second. If somebody comes out of nowhere and they're seem too good to be true, usually they are. People are going to have to be vetted, and that doesn't mean people can't change. Okay, there's plenty of people who thought one way and then come over to the other side and they change through life experience. Okay, or something happens, they grow up, they mature. It's like, I don't think like that anymore. I see the folly of these policies. They don't work. You want that. That's what I think the GOP is up to. That's what I know the left is up to, thanks to James O'Keefe. GOP will try to lull you in, and imagine you get it from both sides. So now you got these fake rhinos and you got these sleeper Democrats trying to get back on your school boards, your councils, your mayors, your DA, all that. The power has always been in the states. That was the point. We were a collection of states with a federal constitution that really wasn't supposed to cover very much. If you wanted to live in a state that wanted to do X and that's what the people voted for, then you can live in a state that does X. If you want to live in a state that's against Y and that's what the people voted for in that state, then you can live in that state. That's how this country is supposed to work. That's why pandemics are so real, I guess. Real, obviously. They're obviously real. But what does a pandemic do? It gives the federal government emergency powers. And that's what they've been using. They want those emergency powers to override state authority. Because what is state authority? State authority is your authority and your will. That's why you keep hearing about the next one, the next big pandemic. Not that it's not going to be real and try to kill everybody. I'm sure it will. It also gives the federal government, basically unchecked emergency powers. That's what they're always looking. That's what they're looking for. That's why you got to be vigilant. That's why you got to have people who are going to fight back. So, all right. So there's my political rant. My next video coming up will be on, people want my thoughts on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. So that's my next video. Be ready for that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below on this one. If you want to get your story on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype or phone call, or or sponsor a video for someone else who can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it growing, supported, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on your contributions. This channel has been completely demonetized. So if you like this channel and you like the content, you want to see more of it, you know what to do with the Zelle and PayPal links in the description box and the email link. Just hook it up, send it over to me, and we'll get it done. Till next time, I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care, everybody.